Here he is. Do I give him an introduction? Do I give him an introduction, people? If you don't know who Cleveland Terry is, click the link in the description and check out his channel. He's got a fantastic YouTube channel, okay? He's a great DJ, great YouTuber, content creator, okay? And what did he tell me to say? Oh, and he's a sweet, open-minded guy. Sweet, open-minded guy. Cleveland, I've had that asshole song stuck in my head this whole damn morning because of you. All morning, my coffee. God damn it! Why do you? Everybody thinks there's gonna be some fire in this interview. It's like, oh man, do people not know we're friends? Like, what the hell? I have no problems with you. I like you. No fire. We might talk shit. That's about it. How are you?
Oh, am I on? It's weird because with this particular software, it doesn't really tell you that you're on. Like, besides the little on-air little words, but like I'm all the. I don't do overly expensive apps like Nick does because Ecamm is like that's like if you got real money. If you got real money, you're on Ecamm. That's all I'm saying.
It's like $25 a month, okay? And it's just easy to use. I was like, all the cool kids. Ecamm is like the virtual DJ of streaming apps. You know what I mean? Like, it's like nobody like uses it, but then everyone looks at you weird when you like Ecamm. What's that? Like, oh, why do you even use it? Why not use OBS? And I tried. I was like, maybe I'll be cool and use OBS early on. I was like, let me fuck around with it, and I hated it. I couldn't because I was so used to this now. Same thing. Like, I don't use Final Cut. I use Premiere. And I try to jump on Final Cut. It's weird to me, but people love Final Cut. Like, I don't know.
I can't work without Final Cut. I moved over for a minute when I started working with Blackmagic, and they sent me their what was it Resolve, DaVinci Resolve, and it's good, but like I'm so used to my Final Cut workflow that I can't move over now. I'm stuck. That's my thing.
I'm the same way. I saw Nate Nelson was using DaVinci and he was loving it and all this, and I was like,
It's got some super dope stuff on it. You know, the audio alone, I keep wanting to go back just because of the audio mixer. It's the only I don't know what Adobe has Premiere, but DaVinci has a dedicated audio pane where you flip over and you can literally go to work with all of your audio. And I'm like, Final Cut doesn't have that. Final Cut, you have to go within the movie clip and then adjust your audio there, but you don't see it. It's just kind of like a plug-in, and I hate that feeling.
So Adobe has Adobe Audition, so you can export the whole thing in Adobe Audition, and it's super powerful. It's like,
so you have to go from video to the Audition and then make your final edits on that one. So it's like a second phase.
Correct.
Okay.
Like, right. Well, it's fully integrated. So like you export it to Audition, and then when you're done doing your thing on Audition, then you can just then it automatically goes right to Premiere, like that audio you made. So it's like pretty. Intuitive how it works. But I don't know. These DJs are like, we don't even know what you're talking about. What the
well, this is the thing though. So Ecamm, I couldn't find out what my audio source was because it doesn't tell you. It just says line. I'm like, what the hell is line? Like, I don't know what line is. Like every other app will tell you, okay, it's this thing, whatever. Because I use a Zoom track, so it'll say Zoom track, blah blah blah. Doesn't say that here. So, but I'm on now. Even though
you sound and look fantastic, I will say that. I love it.
You know, this is a thing for me. And I will say this right off the bat. You have an amazingly good-looking show. So I can't be that guy. I can't be that guy on a cell phone camera. Like I gotta step up too.
That's it.
Yeah. You know what I learned from? The person that really showed me that I was not in my league is when I brought on DJ TLM. I brought him on. And he came on with his perfect key lights and fills, and he had a little shadow touch on the side of his face. And I'm looking at my old raggedy...
Depth. Yeah. Depth.
I'm like, I am over this. I'm done. And I literally, after that show, I went to the drawing board and changed everything because I needed to.
What got you into start making videos and stuff? Because like I was looking back at your earliest content, and you started out kind of doing like little like reviews on mics, and you were like saying how like you were like doing a lot of research and stuff like that. Like what started all that for you? Like 2017?
Yeah, it was around 2017. In all honesty, so I'm an artist by nature. Okay, so before I even did this, I had a hip hop group, so I was a music producer, and I did all of these things before.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of layers to me that I don't really talk about. That's why anytime people ever talk shit, I'm like, dude, I've been through this. I've been through that. I've done this. I've done that. But it's not really my thing it's not my thing. So yeah, we had a hip hop group called Check 1 2. So if anybody wonders where Check 1 2 came
The entertainment.
from,
Oh wow.
yes. So I started off producing on my own. Just backpack in my house. On my lunch break, making music, and then my partner was like, "Hey, this is good stuff. Let's start doing something with it." So we went into that direction, and first was all digital, and I was listening to what you were saying. So it was all digital. Then we had our shows, and we had a good following, and everything was good, right? I'm like, we're moving on up. We're in Hollywood. Our name's starting to get bigger. And then
were you DJing at this time?
Yeah, still. Yeah, I DJed before this. So I've been DJing since I was like 13 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. So then we went and saw a friend of ours, and we'd never seen him live. And he had his band. He's like, "Yeah, come, you guys open for us." I'm like, "Cool, whatever." So we get on there, and then we open. We're like, "Yeah, we're the shit. We're good." And then they come on. And they come on with the band and everything. And I'm like, and all of a sudden, I saw what real killing it was. And literally, my partner and I were just standing there looking at each other like, we didn't even say one word. We were just like, okay. So then again, went back to the drawing board. We got a band on, started pushing all this stuff. And all of a sudden, now we're at that level. And I think that's kind of like what you were talking about just a minute ago with people needing to go out and see what else is out there, because you can live in this bubble where you think you're the shit, and then you get out to the real world, you're like, oh, I got a lot to learn.
And you get humbled. Yeah.
So that's what happened. And then after that, we were good. We got signed. Everything was great. Major label.
Shit.
Yeah. Then the label fell apart, and because we were a label underneath a major, so the label fell apart, and then we were like, okay, we've just spent the last 10 years doing this. What do we do now? And at that point, I kind of took a break because I was doing, in 98, I started my first official multi-op, where I worked for a multi-op company, bar mitzvah company out in Southern California.
How old are you?
I'm old enough. You don't need to know how old I am. I am what I am.
98.
Yeah, 98.
Wow.
Yeah. No. I was in my early 20s, and I know this because so I was at a nightclub.
I'm doing math over here.
You can do math all you want. No. So I was in a nightclub with my homies. You always go out. There's always that night. This is before I was married and everything.
Yeah.
And we were dancing, doing our thing, because I was a professional hip hop dancer too. I've done a lot.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I have lots of layers. So we were at this nightclub just messing around, and this dude walks up to us, and he's like, "Hey, I like what you're doing. Here's my card," right? And we're like, "What the? Okay." So I took the card and I threw it in my drawer, and we were roommates at the time, and I don't know if it's like a few months later, and I'm about to have a kid. I think my then wife was like maybe 7 months pregnant. And so we call this guy up. We're like, "Hey, you gave us this card a few months ago." He's like, "Yeah, come on in." So we go into this place, and it's a bar mitzvah company. And, he needed entertainers. This was my first, real kind of touch into the world of bar mitzvahs and just kind of mobile DJing. I thought all mobile DJing was, you're playing a backyard boogie with your homies. That's a mobile DJ. I didn't think anything about there's major production here. And the company, you might actually know the company. They started out as Heart to Heart Entertainment. Heart to Heart is a big, well, at least they were a huge company out in New York. So yeah. And then they sent a guy out to LA to kind of expand out to here. And long story short, they ended up selling it to the guy, and they became H2H, blah, blah, blah. So, so that was my first thing. I started out as a dancer. Even though I was a DJ, that was not why they brought me in. Started out as a dancer. Then I moved over into emceeing. So with bar mitzvahs, you know a little bit, but there's usually a dedicated DJ, a dedicated MC, and then some entertainers, 2, 3, 4, whatever the party will allow. And so I emceed for, I don't know, must have been about I'm not. See, now I'm not going to say numbers because you're like, okay, so then blah 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 blah. 10 plus.
I'm gonna writing it down over here. Do my algebra later.
So yeah, then I'll show up in one of your clips, and I'm like, damn, he got it. No, it's no secret. I am in my 40s, so no secret.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but anyway, so did that for 10 years, and I was literally working every single weekend, and I just kind of burnt out, right? And like, I'm just over this. So
is that all you were doing, or did you have a full-time thing?
I had a full-time job too. Yeah. So at that point, I was working. I was a revenue enhancement consultant for a municipality. Well, we worked for city government. So I would kind of go around and help these people find out what, where's your sales tax going? Where's your property tax going? Like, that was my job. So yeah, real, brainiac stuff. But that's not why they hired me. It wasn't because of the brainiac stuff. It was because of my ability to talk to people. And it was more about massaging and being a client rep for the city, but you're just the liaison between, you don't have to know everything, but you got to know how to talk to people.
Yeah.
So that was my thing. And then, yes, I was doing that. And then up to about 10 years, I left. My partner was still there at the company, and he was starting to build a name for himself as a talented MC. And at a certain point, he calls me, and I think I had been out for maybe, 2 years. Because my wife is a pharma rep. Like, we didn't need money. We were good. She got pharma money. Like, what do I care? And then he said, you know what? I'm thinking about going off on my own. A lot of people people literally want to give me money to start a business to just go off on my own. So I'm thinking about that. And he was my best friend. So I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, so I'm looking at this guy to bring in as my second. And I said, no. If you're going to do this, let's do it right. I will join you, because I recognized that even at the company I was at, there was a ceiling. I wasn't going to go anywhere, So I'm like, might as well put some effort into something and try to earn a living. So I did that for about 7 years, 6 or 7 years. I spent most of my days working from 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock. And then 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock, I was, trying to start a business. Meetings, client, visits, all those things.
The American dream, baby.
Exactly. Yeah. So worked my butt off for seven straight years. And it got to a point where I couldn't do both. You're just, one's picking up, the other one you're like, oh, I gotta take these phone calls. I gotta send these emails. Thank God for this kind of stuff, or I would have been screwed, because I could be in my office kind of, doing my thing. So at a certain point, it was just like, okay, I knew where I was. We had a good client database, and we were doing a lot of parties, and it got to a point where we just don't feel that you're into this. I'm like, I'm not into this. That's why I started my own company. Like I was never planning on staying. So at a certain point, we both came to a mutual agreement, and then I left, and that was probably the scariest day of my life.
Taking the jump. What year was that?
Oh God! So we've been in business. So that probably was. Let's see. My son was born in 2006. I think he was around 4. So yeah, probably. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So maybe. Yeah, 2010, around there, somewhere. 2011, maybe. It gets a little gray around that time period. But yeah. So then, we rented a warehouse and office, and the rest was history. And then you hit COVID, and then you get stupid. Now I work out of my home office because we shut down the main office, and now we're operating out of a warehouse.
Yeah.
Or a storage unit, I guess.
Was there what were your thoughts when you jumped? Like, I know a lot of, a lot of DJs, like the majority of DJs are, part-time and still have a full-time job for the security and everything. Like, did you use a metric or something? Like, because it's a scary thing. Like, what made you feel good about it? Like,
Yeah. No, my whole thing was, I needed to make what I was making at my old job. That's it. So, and that as DJs, the probably the best thing that we have as DJs is that we know what we're going to be doing 6 months from now, a year from now. So as soon as we were able to see, okay, I got 2 years of bookings, because for bar mitzvahs, it's about a 2-year wait, at least in the past. So you knew what you were doing for the next 2 years. And once we got to that level, it was good. It was good. So then I'm like, okay, I was still scared. There's never a moment where you're like, everything's fine. Let's go. Like, it's always like, oh shit, I cannot believe I'm doing this. What happens if, so.
That's cool, man. So you've been full-time over 10 years? And
Yes.
so you're running the company and everything. What made you get in front of a camera?
So I guess we should probably come full circle. So as the band is done, so we're not doing that anymore. I'm still producing on the side, but like I'm an artist, and it got to a point where obviously when I was working like nonstop, I just literally put everything that I would do on the back burner because I didn't have time. So music production, any art, Photoshop, all that stuff, that was always like my outlet, a way to be creative because I need to be creative. There's no way around that. If I'm not creative, everything in my life suffers. There's like two things I need: creativity, and I need to work out, or I'm an asshole to my wife. So like those are the two things. That's it.
So you had an empty space. You had a void.
Exactly. So I started looking at YouTube. And I didn't even really get into it for the DJing. I just started looking at people, the Peter McKinnons and, some of the vloggers. And I'm like, I love the fact that they're telling stories. I love the fact that like there's something behind this every single day. And I wanted to do something, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew the things I was good at. I knew the things I was interested in. And one of them happened to be tech. I had all of these people that were always asking me for advice, asking me for help. Hey, I got this problem with my stuff. Can you work? And I'm like, okay, hold on. Oh, I'm looking and thinking about buying this thing. What do you think about it? Hold on. Let me do some research. Let me tell you what you should do. So I just kind of, I was always that guy. Right. And then I said, well, if I'm this guy, why don't I just start putting some content up? And I think, my first video was like a microphone, a lapel mic, thing. And then the next one I think might've been like, an iPhone video. So I was kind of doing a thing, and I got into the habit, especially in the beginning. And everybody who's thinking about doing a YouTube or anything, you all fall into this little bucket. And it is, I don't know what I really want to do, so I'm going to take the advice of people that know less than I do. So hey, I'm thinking of starting a YouTube. What do you think? Hey, you know what you should do? Just throw everything at the wall. Whatever catches, that's what you do. It doesn't work on YouTube. But you don't know that when you're starting out. You're like, okay, cool. Here's a video of this. Here's a video of that. And then, I would send it out to everybody. Hey, guys, got a new video. And like the first video was like, I had like 100 viewers. I'm like, oh my God, I've made it. And then, hey, got another video. And then it was like 60 viewers. And then third, all of a sudden now I'm down to 20 because all of your friends, all of your family.
Watch the first one.
Yes. Yeah. And then they're done with you. And
then exactly. It's true. Huge drop off. Then by video 3, they don't give a shit. So it's like, oh man, this isn't working out for me.
I've done what I said I would do. Right. Exactly. And then people kept kind of telling me what I should do. And then I started looking around. I'm like, I have all this DJ equipment. Let me just start reviewing this DJ equipment and start going there. Let me start doing gig logs, and went there. And the gig logs were really my fun part because they allowed me to be creative. But the problem was they take a long time to shoot, to edit. We're all one mans here. Everything that we do, we don't, unless you're Tweak Music Tips and then you have like a caravan of people just wanting to do stuff for you. Yeah. I don't have that. So yeah, I'm the guy shooting the videos. I'm the guy doing the talking head pieces. I'm the guy editing. It's a lot of work. So I started to do just kind of videos of the hardware that I had, and then when I didn't have hardware, NAMM came out. I was like, hey, you know what? NAMM's here. Let me review something that was just announced. And one of the things that I do, and we know that, Nick's kind of the king of like digging up dirt. That's his thing. But what I would do was anytime something was announced, I would give my thoughts video, and I would just start digging, find a manual, find something that I can use. I would read the manual and then do a video from what I read, and kind of go, okay, this is what they're saying. This is what it's doing. Now I can kind of talk about it with some intelligence. And I did that for a long time because I didn't get any love until NAMM 2020 when I saw you there.
Yeah.
That was really the first time I had started getting any type of love. Before that, people were just like, we don't know you, we don't care, whatever. And it's fine. I still need to do what I need to do. But yeah, I had no love. It wasn't until Mojax, I'm not even sure how Mojax and I connected. I just.
Who he's in the chat right now, by the way. Shout out to Mojax.
Oh, yeah. Okay, perfect. What's going on, Mojax? Yeah, I don't even know how I connected with him, but we started talking over WhatsApp, and he had said to me, "Oh, hey, are you going to be at NAMM?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be at NAMM." He's like, "Okay, well, yeah, I'll come with you. I'll get you into In Music because I know it's hard to get into. If anybody doesn't know, In Music, the first couple of days of their show, it's invite only." So they're real bougie when it comes to NAMM. So
you can't even get in the room.
Can't get in the room. Exactly. So yeah, for a couple of years, I was like, "Oh, where's In Music?" And I would go up and I'm like, "Hey," and the door is just like shut. You know, you're like,
In Music
okay.
bouncer.
Totally. They totally have a bouncer.
It's true.
Yes. And so then at a certain point, he's like, "Yeah, I'll be there. We'll chat and we'll figure it out." And I'm like, "I don't know this dude. You know, he's probably just kind of blowing smoke, like whatever. If he's around, he's around." But I'm like, "Cool. If you're there, cool. If you're not, I'm not going to be disappointed because somebody said they do something."
Yeah.
Exactly. So at that point, I met two people that day that kind of changed my life as far as internet is concerned, as far as YouTube is concerned. It was Mojax, and Mojax, he walks up and, this is Mojax. He's got all this stuff in his hand. And he's like, "Okay, we met in front of In Music," and he just kind of walks up, and Jason Stout was like standing at the door. He's like, "Hey, my guy here, this is Cleveland Terry. Yeah, he's really great on the mobile field. You should let him in." And then they're like, "Oh yeah, okay." Let's just open the door, and then I went in, and then it's like, so when you walk into these rooms, it's kind of like the holy grail of like, YouTube stuff. It's like you got Phil Morris there, and all these people are just kind of walking around chatting. You might even see, Jazzy Jeff kind of roaming through, messing with stuff, and it's just like, oh wow, I've made it. This is really cool.
And it's cool because you have the experts that actually designed and know everything about these products. And there's like a Rain section, a Denon section, all that, and all the experts are right there. Like, yeah, I designed it, and this is why. And and you can interview them about their thoughts. It's crazy.
Yeah. So at that time, the Denon Prime Go had just been released, and the Rain 70 had just been released. So two very good products, which I was able to use. Then the next, so once again, I've told Mojax this, all the time, but if I appreciate Mojax more than he can ever know, because he really did literally open the door for me, and it's really, and it's really a funny thing, because when you think about how, especially, the DJ industry and how DJs are the kings of like, yeah, and then they stab you in the back and take your gig, so that's just, that's just the way it works, Mm-hmm. But yeah, so that was amazing. And then the next person was, I went over to Pioneer, and this tall, lanky dude walks up to me, and he's like, "Hey man, I just want to let you know that I really love your stuff, and I show your videos all the time." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. I don't know who you are. I really want to help you. I want you to move up and get to a level like these other people, because I think you got a really good thing to say." And I'm like, cool, whatever. So we exchange cards. And we're kind of texting back and forth when we get back. But anyway, it's Drew Bach. And Drew Bach, if anybody knows Drew Bach, he's one of the chief guys in testing and engineering for Pioneer DJ Group.
He's the brains.
If anything new is coming out, his hands have been on them, and
by the way, Drew hit me up. By the way, I had a video about the PLX 1100. He instantly messaged me and was like, "I hate you. Shut up, and it's not coming." I was like, all right, whatever. It was fun. It was fun to speculate. All right, I like speculating. Damn it.
Right. No, and that's what I love about Drew. Drew kind of tells it like it is, which is why I like him, cool, because I'm the same guy. But yeah, I see people saying Professor BX. Yeah, that's the guy. If you see him on YouTube or on Twitch, that's his name, Professor BX. He's usually kind of, hanging in the background.
And I never knew all this, but that's so cool, because shouts to Mojax. He said on the show, "I'm going to put you on with Denon," and I had a meeting the next day with Denon, with two guys from Denon, and they're sending me some stuff to play with. I've been sleeping on them. I'm very interested to try the stuff out, and he put me on last week. So shouts to Mojax, man. He didn't have to do that,
And that's the key. So, and he didn't have to do anything. And a lot of people wouldn't do anything. And
agree.
so I totally appreciate him. So I try to, I mean, look, I don't have the power that a Mojax does, but I try to kind of, play it forward, and or pay it forward with people, especially if they're like, hey, do you have any context with this? I try to, but I'm still technically lower level, even though, it depends on who you ask. Hey, my alarm's kicking off. I guess I got to go.
The DJ world is a different world for sure. But how did you evolve that? Because you moved so quick, man. Like, it was crazy. Like, I kind of I follow, like, I watch every DJ YouTube. Like, I'm like very like I want to know what everybody's doing. You know what I mean? Like, right. I want to see. I'm always looking for ideas, whatever. And you went 0 to 100 so fast. So this makes sense. So you connected these dots, and like you do really thorough, you're well spoken, like your reviews are good, so like really good. So like
am I black man well spoken?
I mean,
you speak so well for a black man.
No,
that's
like you're smart.
No, that's like the common thing. Anytime it's like you speak so well for a black man.
It's like Woo Pigs, like
for a man.
It's like Woo Pigs, like, oh, you wonder where my black voice is? Woo Pig started a seminar that way. I've never laughed so hard in my life. He's like, you're probably, because he's like got the southern accent. He sounds like he owns a pickup truck. He's like, and you probably wonder where my black voice is. It's in my pocket. It's like, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how did you evolve it?
So basically, up until 2020, it was literally just me with my gig logs and kind of my thoughts videos, and if I had a product that I bought or some Amazon company decided to send me something. It wasn't until, and it wasn't even Mojax and Drew that pushed my numbers up. My numbers went up due to COVID. So COVID kicked in March, and all of a sudden everybody's like, I guess we're not working, so we should probably stream. And the default stream service was IG. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I did that. I did the one video. And again, when I did that video, and this is probably my biggest strength. I mean, look, as what we do as YouTubers, DJs, you got to know what your strengths are. Sure. And I'm very, very in tune with what I do well and what I don't do well. One of the things I can do is I can absorb a lot of data and then put it out in a way that's very, very easy to digest. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I researched the hell out of OBS and all this stuff, and then I just made a video about it. And because I'm like, look, I can't be the only one that's thinking about this. Some other people want to do it. Little did I know that it was humongous. Yes. So
because everybody was trying to figure it out at that time. Every DJ was like, how do I stream? How do I stream? I'm losing my shit. And that was like, bam, right there, popped up. I watched it. I learned.
Yeah, exactly. So so I put out like 2 or 3 videos about that thing around that same time. So I wasn't thinking, look, you can't get into numbers on YouTube because you'll just be disappointed all the time. So I just made the video and I moved on. And then it was like a week later, and my partner's like, hey man, I don't know if you know this, but like I've talked to because my partner, it was a promoter and he was also a club MC. So he knew all the DJs. Any DJ out there, he knew them like front to back. And he's like, I have all of these DJs sending me this video of how to get on IG, and it's yours. And I keep telling people, yeah, that's my partner. That's my guy. That's my dude. And he goes, have you seen your numbers? I'm like, no. And I look, he's like, dude, it's like 25K. And keep in mind, this video I thought was like a 1,000, view type of video. Didn't think
How many
anything
subs
of
did
it.
you have at the time, roundabout?
At the time. So right at NAMM, I think I ended up with I had either 11,000 or I was about to hit 12,000 subs. So I
you
thought
already had a good, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was decent. It was decent. But it's decent, but to NAMM people, like let's say you're trying to start relationships, they're like, how many you got? You're like, oh, that's all you got. But
yeah, it's adorable.
It's adorable, but it's funny to me because my 12,000 at that time were more focused on my reviews and the gear that I talked about than any other people that have 1 million viewers. Like a Peter McKinnon might have 1 million viewers. He talks about a Canon lens. You're not going to go buy that Canon lens. Nick sucks. That's hilarious. You're not going to buy that. But if I talk about a piece of gear, it's more likely that a DJ is going to go, hey, if he says it's good, I'm going to take a serious look at this. So the numbers were always, you can always find a way to argue the numbers because it's more about buying power than anything else.
Sure.
But I only had 12,000 people. And at that time, so a lot of people like Chevet, by the way, I'm pretty sure that Chevet hates me. I'm pretty sure about that. Because I talked about some of their products and then they didn't like the fact that I told the truth. And it was the truth. Yeah. So,
I hear you. I hear you.
So when I was at their booth and I'm talking to him like, yeah, and he's like, oh yeah, well, we have other people that are, have much bigger numbers that, we tend to send our product to. I'm like, oh, yeah. Okay, whatever. So when I did that video, I went, and it was funny because it was at the same time we were doing quarantine DJs, and I see Jay Book in the chat. I was talking to Jay Book and and Bar and all these people and Woopig, and they're like, because Bar is huge in analytics. Like I think he spends the majority of his time just like checking out other people and seeing what they do. Because he's like, dude, have you seen your numbers? Like you've shot up like 10, like I was getting 1,000 new viewers every day. Wow. Every day, which is huge from that video. Yeah. So I ended up within like 2 weeks, I think I might have had like 12,000 new subscribers. It was absolutely insane. Like it just shot up, right? Yeah. So
see, I haven't had one of those videos yet. I haven't had it. I don't have one. It just hasn't happened. I got my core. I appreciate you all watching, but like I've never had like I just hear the stories, the myths, the legend of the viral video and what it does to your YouTube channel. One of these days.
It was really, really impressive, and you'll get there. I mean, you do enough shock jock, something's bound to go viral with you.
Throw darts, baby.
Right, exactly. So that was the video, and then all that really did was kind of okay. So most people don't know it's Nick. I'm talking to Nick because I know he understands this. But a lot of times when you're making videos, you can see viewership. That's all. You can see what people like it, which people used to dislike it. But you have no idea who's actually watching your videos. So it wasn't until I'm on Twitch and I start just saying hi to people in the chat, like Serato, remember when Twitch when the migration happened, all the DJs moved over to Twitch, Serato was huge. I mean, they were getting like, it was like 20,000, 30,000 viewers because they kept being thrown on the front page from Twitch. So their numbers were huge. And I would go in there like, hey guys, what's going on? And like all of a sudden, like all of these like real DJs, like DJs that I totally look up to, were like, oh, hey, Cleveland Terry's in the chat. What's up? Hey, I learned so much from his videos, blah, blah, blah. So the funny thing is they didn't even know that like I had like a DJ channel. Like I blew up because of the streaming. And then people were like, oh, it's the same guy. I didn't realize it was the same guy. So, and then from there, I mean, I made my connections from there. Serato was one of them. They were like, hey, we love what you do. We'd like to work with you on some things. And, it's been great so far. Do
you have any tips for that? Like, making like you seem to be really good at that. Like making connections and like the interviews you've done. Like even the interviews. Like, did you kind of just work up the ladder? Like you've had straight up blue checks on your show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like. Is there a secret? Is there how do you do you have a networking secret or something like that? You know what I mean?
No. The person, in all honesty, the person who has the biggest networking is Tweak Music Tips. That, Kova brings on people where I'm like, okay, he's like, oh yeah, I knew this person and this DJ knew this. And like, I don't have that. In all honesty, the way that I did it was I just asked people. And I think it just depends on, where you are at the moment, because at that point, the Twitch thing was popping, that IG video was popping, and then it was like a major storm, like 3 storms collided at one time, because it was the IG stuff, and then it was Pioneer had some brand new products. I had bought a Rain 70 like literally the day after NAMM, and nobody had them. Like, I mean, even like In Music didn't have them, and they only had small pieces. So they sent me the Rain 70, and they sent me the Denon. They sent me the Denon Prime Go, but the Rain 70 came. So I had videos for things that DJs were interested in, but nobody had any access to, so that helped too. And then the S11 came out, and that was like the biggest piece of, and I was one of the main people that had it. So, people just had to kind of go, okay, somebody's respecting him because he's getting all this hardware. So then when I started asking people like, hey, like Scratch Bastard, hey, I don't know if you know me. Oh yeah, of course I know you, man. Yeah. And we worked at getting him on, and I still have some people that I want on, and I haven't done the interview thing for a while because I had to stop because, after COVID let up, we literally
Back to work.
had to go back to work. Exactly. So I had to put all that stuff to the side, but I still wanted to do my Tech Thursdays.
Yeah. What, like, how does it work when you get a product? Like, do they put you on an NDA? Like obviously you had the Rev 7 before, the information came out. So you probably seen my video and we're giggling. This guy knows nothing. But like, do they send it to you 10 days prior and you sign NDA? Do you have to like give them like anything for collateral, like your firstborn child or something? Like what?
Hold my baby, please.
Hold my baby.
No. So you sign an NDA. Okay, you don't sign an NDA on every piece of gear. So once you sign the NDA, you're kind of locked in. I'm not even sure.
So it's a general one. So you have an NDA with Pioneer
NDA
right now. So you just regardless, it's not per gear. It's just
exactly.
an umbrella.
It's anything that hasn't been announced, you can't talk about. So So in India, I have one with them. I have one within music. Do I have one within music? I'm pretty sure I have one within music. But So it's a perpetual license, so to speak. Typically, it all depends on the hardware. Sometimes you'll get hardware, and it's like, I've gotten gear like the RX3, for example. And keep in mind, Pioneer DJ is out here. I'm in Southern California. So Pioneer DJ is out of Torrance. And their logistics site where they hold all their gear is like Carson. So it's like the next city over. And so they're there. So at first, I thought it was coming from like other places. So I didn't really ask, like, can I just pick this up? So it was just kind of showing up at my house. And I got the RX3. I got the RX3 the same day that the embargo was lifting at midnight. So I got the RX3 I got it home at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I had to like do a deep dive for the next 4 or 5 hours and then shoot the video, edit the video so it could be released at the embargo at midnight. Now, look, I know people are like, well, it's an embargo. You don't have to release your video. You can release your video later on, but that's not the way the YouTube algorithm works. If an embargo is released, you have to be on that same time. People need to, because if not, you might get washed away into like everybody else that's got videos. So, so that's that one. That was like, typically it's usually, in the past, it's been like 3 to 5 days that you'll get a piece of gear, that you'll be able to review it and check it out and then do your video on it. Rev 7, I had it a little longer than most people because I got it with like a 2-week window, which was like the longest. So I was really happy about that. Yeah. And I knew about it for a long time, but
so they told you about it too. Like, how'd you know about it?
I knew about it. Let's just leave it at that. I knew about it. Okay, we'll leave it at that. So I knew about it when it was in prototype. Like it wasn't even a piece of hardware.
That's crazy.
I saw it and I went to Pioneer DJ and actually did some testing and gave my opinion on things and if I liked it or not or whatever. That was months before it was actually released. So
really?
Then I got it about 2 weeks before, really worked on it, and then I was supposed to send it back. I went to where did I go? I went to Texas for a wedding that I had to do and came back with COVID. So then I'm like, I can't get it back to you. So I kept it another week. So yeah, good stuff.
So
but
cool.
everybody's different. Sometimes it's longer. It just depends on the manufacturer. Like the Rain
Logistics.
one. Yeah, the Rain one I was supposed to get before embargo, and then something happened with I'm not going to name names, but a person there, and I come to find out that my gear was at the person's house, and he had a medical condition, and then it just sat there. So then I finally did get it like a couple of weeks later. So did my review. The numbers were fine on it, but the numbers would have been 2 to 3 times more had I done it on the same date. So it is what it is.
Timing is everything on that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I got no NDAs over here. I just basically I got nothing to do but speculate. I hear about something, I'm fucking squawking.
Yeah, and look, and I get it. I make jokes, especially because I do my Tech Thursday. You have your show on Tuesday, and then Thursday comes around. People are like, so Nick said that this is happening,
and I'm like, texting me like, bro, you gotta shut up.
Yeah, just but the funniest thing is, so especially with the Rev 10, where like I had it was almost like QAnon. Like people were like, "No, man, you don't know what you're talking about." I talked to the engineer of the engineer's sister, who has told me, who's told me this, and I'm like, dude, I think I know a little more about it than you do. Why would I be so adamant? Especially under NDAs. Like, if I knew there's something, I'd be like, well, I don't know, whatever. But like, I'm like, no, there is no Rev 10. Like, I don't have, like, it got so bad, honestly, that I'm texting Drew, like, hey man, before I say anything else, are you sure there's no Rev 10? Because I don't want to look like an asshole. Because I was starting to feel it myself. Like maybe, and I guess that's the world we live in. If enough people tell you it's fact, you'll just believe it's fact.
It's just rumors spread like that. It's insane. It's just like high school. You know what I mean? You can make something up out of thin air, and if it spreads, by the time it gets to like the 5th, 6th person, it just becomes, you don't know the source, so you just assume it's true blindly. Yeah, exactly. And then you just like run with it,
Oh, so there were a couple of people on here earlier. One person said, is Cleveland Terry even a DJ? Which I find funny because that's just rumor about me. And it's very interesting because I've had both ways. So when I first started doing videos, people were like, I can't take you serious. I've never heard you DJ. So you need to be more like DJ TLM. And then I will respect you. And I'm like, what what does this have to do with my reviews? But whatever. Mm-hmm. And so like now I DJ, especially when Twitch hit, I started DJing more. But there's this kind of thing that's like, oh yeah, he's not really a DJ though. I'm like, yeah, I really am a DJ. I do DJ. I have a pretty successful company because I DJ.
you could find that out with a simple Google search. That's kind of crazy to me that they just like that,
people want to put you in a box.
By the way,
that's what I learned too.
Make sure you follow Cleveland Terry at Cleveland Terry _ you could see all the DJ stuff.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm trying to do is because I'm about 7,000. I want to get up to the 10,000 people mark. So if you Nick people are not following me, hey, you should be following me on YouTube and also get on my IG.
Definitely follow Cleveland.
Yeah, and I do a lot of things on IG that I don't do on YouTube. Like all my skits are always on IG. It's a place to have a little fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yes, I am a DJ. I DJ for a living. We are a multi-op in
What's
Southern
your breakdown?
California.
Like, is it mostly mitzvahs, mostly weddings, half and half? Like, what would you say?
So no. We are top heavy. We do like 90%, maybe 85% bar mitzvahs. Okay. Then split like, I don't know, 20% or 15% between corporate and weddings. Those kind of operate on the same tier for us. But yeah, so bar mitzvahs is where we got our start. And, we do a lot of, everybody's different, especially with like, I've noticed on the East Coast, there seems to be a lot more just events in general. Like there's a lot of weddings on the East Coast that are like, oh, a Thursday wedding, a Friday wedding, that doesn't happen in California. Really? Yeah, you work Saturday and Sunday. Maybe you get an occasional Friday, but all of our events are Saturdays and Sundays. So we have less opportunity than a lot of these East Coast companies out there. But we still do like 500 events a year. So I'm not complaining. And it's bar mitzvahs are, they pay well.
They're tough. I can never do it, man. I mean,
They
how
are
do you do
tough.
it? Like, do you have a minimum crew that you bring no matter what? Like,
Yes.
is there like you can't just have like a super basic cable package with a bar mitzvah because it's not going to work. Like, you have to have right? Like, what do you
Yes.
what do you bring
So
usually? Like, what's the minimum?
Our minimum for a bar mitzvah is a dedicated DJ, a dedicated MC, and then 2 dancers. So 4 people are always on the
And they're like
event.
party motivators, right? Like, they kind of
Exactly.
like, okay.
You got it. Party. Well, there's so many names: party motivators, party poppers, whatever. We
Yeah.
just call them entertainers now. I don't even know what the hell a party popper is, but whatever. So that's what I do for that. And I mean, after COVID hit, obviously people were struggling to have events. So it's like, we only need a DJ. We decided to just do a little cocktail party in our backyard, blah, blah, blah. We're going to do hora, and then that's it. So we would do like a one man. So for the first, from January to like April of 21, it's 21? 21, yeah. We were doing like one man's a lot. And then it jumped up to 2 mans because people were like, well, we only have like 50 people. So, we don't need, so fine. And then once we got it back up to 100 plus, then it was back up to the 2 dancers. But, it is a lot of work.
What's the hardest part?
What is the hardest part? You know what the hardest part is? Is the gap. The gap between kids and adults. Because on a wedding, you have so many demographics. You got grandpa, you got the grandparents, you got the parents which may be in their 50s. Then you got the bride and groom which are in their 20s, maybe 30s. So you have all of these windows to play music. So you're able to play a lot more, and like you can jump around. Like I can play, okay, it's dinner time, I'm going to play a whole Frank Sinatra set, get all the grandparents up to do their little thing. They dance for a second, they're like, this is the best party ever. And then you're done with them, which is, by the way, I'm sure you've said this, but pro tip, any wedding, focus on the grandparents first. Play all the shit that they want to hear first, because they will never complain. They're not saying to the end, and they won't complain about your sound if you play their stuff first. It's only when you don't, but they're like, turn it down. Turn it, that's all they get. But if you can give them like 2 songs, they're happy campers.
That's a good point. It's not loud when it's their music.
It's never loud when it's their music. Exactly. But when you play low, they're like, oh, can you please turn this shit down? Please. I'm trying to have a conversation. Yeah. So basically, a bar mitzvah, you got 13-year-olds, and then you have 35 to 40-year-olds. So there's a huge gap between what the music that the kids are listening to versus what the adults are listening to.
So you have to play to the parents? So the parents are, I always thought the parents were just in the background.
It's not a kids-only party. No,
it's not.
Well, okay. So there are different companies out there, and I know there are companies that kind of cater towards like, it's kids party. It's just a kids party, and they got 40 adults in the back, but it's mostly for the kids. Not out here. Out here, it is a part. The adults will party harder than their kids. Like they come ready to go. So we have to play to both of them. And that's always hard. It's funny because like I remember back in, it was like 98, 2000 when I was just a dancer, but like all the kids were all in the grunge. So it was like they were moshing or they were doing nothing. So you had the adults that were like, can you play like, some disco, some 80s music? Because it's all, which is funny too, because like we follow a path on bar mitzvahs that is a little different than like a wedding. So, our years are, maybe in the 90s, you were playing disco music. And then you get to the 2000s, 2010s. Maybe you're playing 80s, but I found that 80s kind of never took off, which is very, very funny. But 80s never worked. So you went right from 70s to 90s to 90s hip hop. And now finally the kids and their age bracket and the adults, they're all meeting in the middle. So now they're all into hip hop again, and the kids, because of Spotify and Apple Music, they're listening to all of this older music. So if you play a next episode, the kids are like, "This is my shit," and you're like, "How do you even know this? This was before Super Bowl." So you could start to dabble into that. But then you could go like, the Gold Diggers and all that stuff was like kind of like their happy place. But now we're finally back into like 90s where you can kind of play for everybody again. So that's the hardest part. I'm glad disco has finally kind of pushed its way out. So I don't play disco unless I'm typically at playing weddings. There are some disco songs you'll play. You'll play like Dancing Queen. You'll play a Staying Alive, but like you're not going deep into, besides like maybe an Earth, Wind and Fire, or maybe a Kool and the Gang, but I don't play Celebration. Like I don't play Celebration. I don't play We Are Family. I don't play I Will Survive, Macarena. Like I don't play any of that bullshit. It's been retired. And I'm over it. And, I know a lot of people are going to be like, yo man, how you not going to play Celebration? Because you don't need to. There's enough music in the same genre, in the same field, that can get the same reaction, and you don't have to play the same shit that they heard at their bar mitzvah.
There's so much music that you could even quick mix and play 150 songs in a night instead of 40 and still not play that regular stuff.
Yeah, because that drives me nuts with DJs. I mean, look, I am not one, I am one, but I'm not really one to like tell people what to do. It's, I will recommend, I will give my opinion. But if you want to sit back and do what you do, fine. But you're not going to argue me into changing my mind about how I work for the past 15 years in my style of DJing and the impact that I see on the floor. You can't tell me that what I'm doing is wrong. But I can tell you that what you're doing is fine. I can tell you that I guarantee you're still having good parties. But they could be great. And I've seen the difference between when you play whole songs and, you play your 60 songs for that night versus when you play your 150. I've seen the difference, So, it drives me nuts when I hear people tell me that, no, my way is wrong. I'm like, well, I've done your way and I've done my way. I've done both ways. And there are certain parties where you might have to go and play like longer songs. I'm not telling people that I don't adjust to a party, but in general, my way works.
I think there's a common misconception. I think like a lot of DJs look at it like, that we just, you just mix through songs at a minute each song and that's it. Quick mixing isn't about like 1 minute every song, like a fixed amount. It's a variable. Quick mixing, the art of quick mixing, when done correctly, it really is based on knowing what parts of each song to play and what parts to not play. There's songs that I play 2 verses. For example, Wanna Be by the Spice Girls. I drop first verse, I play the chorus, and then I usually skip to the little rap at the
chorus from A to B.
Because those are the 2 parts everybody wants to hear. If you skip that second part, you can get people turn around. Why'd you quit? You know what I mean? It's happened to me. That's how I learned. It's just trial and error. Right. And I think that, some DJs try and quick mix and they'll play Spice Girls and they just, play the first chorus or play the first verse, play the first chorus, mix out. And everyone's looking at them like, yo, why'd you cut it off? Like you missed you cut it off too soon. And then they think on the surface, it's like, wow, quick mixing sucks.
Yeah,
I can't do that. It doesn't work.
It didn't work. People are so
like,
mad at me.
You didn't know what to play.
Yeah. Well, and here's another one. Holla Back Girl. Holla Back Girl has made a big comeback.
The bananas.
Yeah. So I play intro beat into the chorus, and then after the ooh, that's my shit. Let me hear you say the shit is bananas. I have a cue point that goes right into that.
That's exactly
Nobody complains. They're like, okay, that's what I wanted to hear anyway. I wanted to hear that part. And and I wish people weren't so stubborn and would actually kind of listen to what we're saying. We're not telling you, there's certain songs I don't cut off Don't Stop Believing. But this weekend, I have a cue point right at the chorus. And sometimes, depending on the party itself and how much time I have left, I will jump from the guitar solo right into Don't Stop Believing. Right into the chorus. And it works even if people were like, oh, I wanted to do my air guitars. They really want the chorus because the chorus is limited. It's only at the end of the damn song. So that's where I go sometimes. And it always works. I've never had one person say, oh, where's my guitar solo? They just start screaming the song. And if you give them something more than what they're expecting, most people won't complain.
100%.
People that quick mix into a worse song, they're not mad that you quick mix. They're mad that you played a dumbass song afterwards.
Or you missed the part that you're supposed to play.
You missed the part.
You just got to know what to play. Sicko mode. Yeah. You started out and you jump right to the Drake part.
She's in love with who I am.
Back in high school. Nobody wants to hear the Travis Scott part.
I'll play the beginning of the Travis Scott part because they love it when that beat comes in, and
Yeah.
then right from there, bam, echo into Drake's part. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And if you say you play the whole Sicko Mode song and it works, it's because everybody's sitting there bored waiting for the Drake part to come up.
Exactly.
You know? And if you quick mix out before the Drake part, they're going to yell at you and you're like, wow, quick mixing sucks. No, you got to play the right parts. Once you learn all the right parts, you get it all down, and you're constantly learning too. Either when new songs come out, or maybe the TikTok has affected that too. Like certain parts of the song now, it might be featured on TikTok, and I'll miss it, and I'm like, and I'm getting yelled at because I mixed too quick, and I'm like, why? And I figure, oh, okay, and I make a note, and then now I'm not going to do that in the future. It's like it's an evolving process.
It's 100%, and it's not only that it's an evolving process, but sometimes songs will make a resurgence, and maybe the part that is big now is completely different than when you were used to. So like. What's a good example? Like Mo Bamba's a great example. They like the first part, oh, the calling, but there's a part in Mo Bamba that it just dies until the oh fuck shit part, and that's all they care about.
We don't curse on this show. We don't curse on this show. Can you not?
Sorry. Oh, flour and filth. I was watching. We should talk about Bill Cosby, and so now flour and filth is just stuck in my head.
Yeah. He said, sorry, oh, flour and filth.
So yeah, but if you got to know that part, because you can play the whole song, and you might have the kids stay with you, but at a certain point in that song, they're all gonna just kind of slow down. They're gonna calm down. They're gonna start looking around at other stuff to do, and they're waiting for that part. Why, if you know they're waiting for a part of a song, why are you not playing that part? That's the way I look at it. It's stupid. It's stupid.
What about the quantity? Why do DJs think that playing more songs by
bad?
Quick mixing is bad? Every song you put on and it works, they get a rush of euphoria. Wow, I love this song. They get to sing it. So to me, the more songs you could play in a night, the better. The more times you can give people that reaction, the better. Why are you advocating to play less songs longer?
So they have two arguments that I've seen. Well, one argument in particular that it's been kind of the main, and that is, the artist did not want you to quick mix their music. There is a story in this song, and you are not giving the artist his credit or her credit by playing the whole song. And I'm just like, whatever. But what I really think is, and I've said it before, it's no secret. Look, playing 60 songs on a party is safe. You're not going to make any mistakes when you play 60 songs. Like, that's easy. If I play We Are Family, and We Are Family is almost 5 minutes long, I don't have to worry, okay, they know this song, they're comfortable with it, they like it. I'm not going on a limb. I'm not trying to test the waters to see, hey, have you heard this? Have you heard this? And it's just safe. So people can walk out of the party going, yeah, I heard the music I wanted to hear. But were they really happy? Yeah, exactly. Did they leave going, oh my God, I never danced that hard? Because I don't know. Again, I'm not here
I think that argument's bullshit too, because you saying, oh, the artist wanted you to hear this. Most of the dance floor songs that we play are all just catchy hooks. They were designed to be a catchy radio hit. They're not like, it's not like full of meaning, like not, maybe some slow dance songs. Most of them are just, a verse, a chorus, a verse, another chorus. They got 4 choruses in one, a bridge, because, they thought it wasn't like it came from their heart, man. And like, you're really just chopping up like the art.
It's pop music.
Yeah. And what we do is art too. It's all subjective. Art is subjective, right? We're artists. We're painting pictures with MP3s or streaming it from BeatSource. Little plug there. No.
I will say this. I did listen to your little rant.
What do you think about that meme? I want to ask you about that.
I think it's stupid, and I think you're right. I think it's always the old heads, and it always bothers me because, like, technically speaking, I'm an old head. Okay, but I don't think like an old head. And the reason why I don't think like an old head is 2 reasons. One, because I surround myself with younger people, younger DJs that are seeing things in a way that I'm not seeing them. So they open my eyes to certain things, and I'm not opposed to new technology. And I think that's the big deal here. People that are opposed to new technology, it's never, new technology doesn't hurt you. If you never want to progress, and you're still on, two turntables and vinyl or whatever, you can still throw parties. You can still have a good party, but to make it seem like if you are streaming music, you are less than them because they have that one file is stupid. It's absolutely asinine that anybody would even like this, right? Like that. If I knew the person that said it, I would literally cuss him out. I'd be like,
so would I. I want to know. Yeah. Show yourself. If you got the balls, yes. whoever made this, hit us up. DM me, please. Reach out. weddingdjtips@gmail.com. Please.
Right. So I'm of the mindset that, well, first, you guys know, I'm all about technology. I am never, ever going to get to a point, well, you know what? I shouldn't even say that. I am not at this time at a point where I feel comfortable not having my catalog of music available to me. Okay. That might change. Look, if I really wanted to take the time, I honestly could just throw all of my music from BeatSource into into the cloud and then on my local storage and probably be fine. And that's the difference here. Before BeatSource, before actual local file caching, and I know it's been around for a while, but I'm just saying in general, before BeatSource kind of made it okay. I think, yes, you could say if you were just streaming, it's dangerous. You could say that. But now with offline mode, it's a stupid to not think that it's possible. I go through Tidal and BeatSource, and I've switched over to Tidal. Let's say BeatSource didn't have the song that I needed for the request. Mm-hmm. And when I switch back to BeatSource, all my files are still there. So it's like, I'm not worried that, oh no, and this is only in Serato. Serato has a horrible streaming component. Everybody else, Rekordbox and DJ, it's so fluid. It feels like it's on, like you can put streaming music in Rekordbox into your playlist, into your normal playlist. So it's like a regular song that you own. You can't do that with Serato yet. Hopefully soon. But anyway, so I think that if you don't want to do it, don't do it. But don't tell me that it's bad to be able to play any song that a client might come up to you and ask for. Just this weekend, I had a client go, hey, you know what? My dad passed during COVID, and there's a song that he used to love. Can you play this song sometime during the night? And I'm like, what's the song? It was a song I'd never heard of. It's super obscure. Go on a title, type it in, bam, pops up. I'm the hero. Instead of saying, sorry, you were supposed to put your request in before the party per contract. I don't have it, so I'm sorry, you're out of luck. Like, that's stupid to me. How is that customer service? How are you going above and beyond? That DJ is the same DJ that talks to me about, well, I don't do this because it's not in my contract. My contract specifically states that if you don't provide this, then I don't do this. Shut up.
And that DJ also brags about their library. I guarantee you it says on, whoever made this, it says on his website that he has 300,000 songs, and he prides himself in having so many duplicates that because he could handle any request. You want that B-side record? I got it. Yes. Like those DJs love that. That's a big selling point. They literally have it on their website and their marketing material, but then they're going to trash streaming, which could give them the same thing.
But this is the funny thing. This is the other side of this. I have all 300,000 songs, but I don't have any current shit because I don't know what the hell to play.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
Who's winning here? I'm not trying to go to the Library of Congress to hear some song that was from the 1940s. Like, I want to hear new shit too. And these kids and these young wedding people want two things, or three things technically. You got to play some stuff for mom and dad, grandparents who paid for the wedding. Then you got to play current stuff for all the 20-year-old getting married, which is typically like, later on in the night. And you got to play nostalgic stuff that they knew when they were younger. Mm-hmm. Okay? Like, those are pretty much the three areas you stay in. If you only have nostalgia and old people music, but you don't have what is current because you don't know. A lot of DJs really don't know what's hot. They look at the list. Oh, here's the top 100 songs. That stuff ain't real. Like, in reality, that stuff, yes, you'll find some songs that are still being played, but I look at the top 100 all the time and I'm like, none of the songs that I'm getting requested are even on this list. So then, how do you know? How do you know what's hot?
And I think you can get stuck in an era. It happened to me a little bit. And but I've been going through music, and I've been really diving in, like, to just digging, looking for new stuff, whatever. And I'm looking right now. The 2000s are kind of dead. Like, it's not like in my opinion, the 2010s and whatnot are what's hitting right now because of the age. Because listen, we all, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, by Usher, they'll dance to it, they know it. Right. Crazy in Love, they know it, but if you really think about it, 2003, they were only 5-6 years old, maybe at this point.
Yeah, now it's a throwback.
It's becoming so, like, it's shifting now. And when I was organizing my music, I was doing it by decades, and I'm looking, I'm like, wow, like 2010s is actually it now. Like, it's for the first time, a lot of this like 2000s hip hop, all that stuff isn't really hitting the same. It's starting to transition. And
I won't tell a lie, 2010s to like 2015. Was a little bit of a struggle to me because I don't know. It's like I had missed that window. Like, we had gone from one
EDM?
thing to an the EDM I was fine with, but then there's that hip hop 2010s that like, because the EDM was so big that I just completely missed because everybody I was playing before was EDM. And then I'm like,
Drake, Waka Flocka.
Yes, right, exactly. Exactly. So then when you do weddings, that's all they want to hear. So it's like, oh my God. I have the music. It's sitting on my computer. And that's also the person with those 300,000 songs. They're not finding half the shit that they need. It's impossible. I don't care what you say. Nobody's that good at categorizing. I don't believe you. So
they search for every song. Search every song. They don't have crates.
Right. They don't have crates because it's all request. It's all request. But I'm like, hey, and I know you were talking about introducing new music into your events, and that how you're a little, concerned about that because it is their wedding. I'm of the mindset, well, first off, I mean, I don't think that there's any problem, especially because we're quick mixing. So if you drop a song, and if you don't know the song, I would only tell people this, for anybody that remembers what Nick was talking about. If you don't know the song, start with the chorus. Start with the chorus and see how they react versus you got your intro right into the verse. Because if they don't know the song...
plan. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Have a song right behind it that if you know this song's gonna burn hard, you can move out of it. But that's why I'm saying, like, a lot of people, if they know something that's new, they know the chorus, but they don't know the verse. So just start with the chorus, see how they react to it, and that'll tell you if, like, you can continue on. So I have a cue point at the intro, a cue point at the start of the verse, and a cue point at the chorus. So if I play the chorus and they're loving what I'm playing, fine, I can go back to the first verse. If not, I'm out. I'm off to something that they know. So.
Yeah, and as long as you have a game plan, that's how you test it out. Yeah, I test out music all the time, but you have to have a game plan. You got to know where you're going. You got to know, in case this bombs, this is what I'm going to go to, and it's going to work no problem, and I'll be fine, yada, yada. But that's the cool thing about going out is if you go out and you see other DJs play it, and then you see it work, and you see what parts worked, now you can play with a little more confidence. Now you like, all right, you're not really testing it at your wedding. You've already seen this shit work. Right. If you never see other DJs, then you're either playing the same shit or it is a little harder, trying out,
It's a combination of not knowing some of the newer music and also seeing how people are playing the new music. That's one of the arguments. When people say you need to play the whole song, it's because they don't go out. Because they use this, probably this is the Vent show. They use this thing, by the way, that breath right there reminded me of another show that you had on when he went, not gonna name names, but but they use this. You need to play all the song because they're not going out and seeing how the new DJs are mixing. And this whole thing of like a wedding or a bar mitzvah is not a club. Yes, it is. People are out there to have a good time. Why do people go to clubs? To dance. They're not going for any other reason. So if the way you're playing at a club works, why wouldn't it work at a mobile event? Because they're different people?
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense.
And if you go to pretty much any bar, any club, I don't care where you live, and if there's a DJ there and he's beat mixing, he's quick mixing, like that's kind of the standard in the club industry, especially if you're going, then people are used to it. People are like the last 5-10 years, really 5 years, it's been the first time where you get couples really like, do you play the whole, like I literally get couples asking me, do you play the whole song?
Yes.
I've never had that question in my life. Yeah. Never. Do you, or do you like, how do you handle that? And then I explain.
How do you DJ? because I saw this one guy, and that's all. That's they're look. Mobile DJs get a bad rep, and because there's a lot of people that are just doing their thing. They do what they do, and they don't change up, and it works. They still keep getting bookings, so clearly what they're doing is right. But I just want people to be better. I mean, look, if you want to do that way, fine. I'll keep getting the parties, and people will still keep booking me, and I don't have an issue with bookings either. So if it works for you, fine. But I'm just telling you right now that there's no way in hell that you're going to tell me that the way you're mixing now is even going to really work 5 years from now.
Oh,
if based upon what I'm saying, nobody's going to want to book you.
It won't work in Jersey right now. And I think we're just a little ahead of the country in certain aspects just because of where we're at. Philly, Baltimore, New York, it's all right here, and we just have a progressive area, But I'm telling you right now, if you, and any New Jersey DJ can confirm this, you come to Jersey and you DJ a wedding and you don't mix quickly, like if you're not solid, they will eat you alive. You will not, everybody, it would be insane. You will struggle like you wouldn't believe, because the standard up here is so many good DJs here. It's insane. Even furniture, which is odd. It's almost, there's still people that don't use furniture in Jersey, but it's almost expected. Like when I first got furniture, it was like whoa, cool setup.
Yeah.
No one gives a shit about my furniture no more. It's just what DJs use now. It just became a standard,
See, we don't have that yet, which I'm actually excited for, because I don't like furniture's heavy and it's big and it's bulky. So
big case. You need a big case. A big ass case on casters, bro. Yeah. On wheels, you roll in, everything's built in, you just plop it down, plug it in, you're good to go.
I'm interested in, I looked at the Max booth when I was at
that thing's cool.
It actually is very, very cool.
The Max Designs,
yeah. I might pick up one of those, when my Rev 7 ever shows up. Because
same.
I no longer bring turntables with me to events. I'm over it. It's just a lot of weight. I'm good.
If my turntables weren't built into my furniture and I just literally plopped it down, I literally plop it down, plug in my laptop and go. That's it. I don't have to set them up. You know what I mean? If that wasn't the case, I would never use turntables. I would use a controller 100% because it's just too much. RCAs and all the bull. You know what I mean? It's just built in. It makes it easier. But that Max Design, shout out to that guy. I think it's cool. They have the one. It looks. I wish I saw it in real life. You saw it in real life. Can I fit a 16 space rack in that thing?
Yes.
The one, the bigger one, it has an area like a whole, like a 16 space rack on wheels. Can I just slide my shit in there? Because that would be crazy. Then I won't even need a facade behind me. Then it'll just be me, the booth, and speakers.
So I did see it. There was slots, but I'm not sure if they're required to keep the thing upright. I mean, I don't know if they're adjustable, so where you can slide your rack underneath it.
Yeah, that would be clutch. I don't want to some booths. DJ Demand has a booth where he had a custom booth made, and he has a rack built into it. But that makes it great. He's got Rain 12s in there, I think, plus his rack and everything. And who knows how much that thing weighs? It's insane. I think it would be so cool if I could just slide my rack in there,
Right.
And then the rack could still be separate and it'd be a little lighter to carry.
Yeah, because I know that is a big thing. A lot of people do bring racks. What do you keep in your rack?
I keep, so I got my two mics, my distro for the mics, so they're all, it's all rack mounted. I got a drawer with my external mixer, and power conditioner, and that's it. And everything gets plugged in through that, so I can just monitor power and all. And then I got I call them trap drawers. I got a big drawer on the bottom where I keep my mics and other stuff, and I got a little drawer on top. That's where I throw my keys. I got gum in there, Listerine strips, and I got and I throw the, if I get a tip, I throw the tip in there. Because one thing I talked about tips last week, I forgot to mention the golden rule. Do you do this? If you get a tip, do you look at it right away or do you wait to the end?
No, I put it in my pocket.
Because I swear, you look at it. If you look at it before the party starts, you look at it when you get it. You don't wait to the end. The DJ gods come down and they sabotage you. Your brand new Mac, all of a sudden blue screens. I'm telling you, it's a thing. I'm telling you, you're always being watched by the DJ gods, and certain things piss them off, and you do not want to piss off the DJ gods. Everything will go wrong. Everything will go wrong. You look at that tip, it's the worst thing you can do. Call me superstitious, but
no, I agree 100%. Especially when they give it to you right at the beginning, hey, do a good job. You're just I don't want to know want to know what he qualifies as a good job on this tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like couples. You ever notice though that they always pre-write the card, and a lot of times you'll get a tip. You'll get it in the beginning of the night. The maid of honor will give it to you, but the card's like, "Oh my God, Nick, you absolutely killed it." And I'm like, when I read it afterwards, I'm like,
"What realm is this?"
Yeah, I'm like, wait, did you time travel? Or like, what if I actually sucked? I could just be like, nope. She said right here I was the shit. Like, you're giving away your leverage. These couples are giving away their leverages.
But maybe that's good for you though, because maybe they're just like, because when people think highly of you, you have more leeway for mistakes than.
That reminds me. That reminds me, by the way, since you've had a YouTube channel and everything, has that affected your business anyway? Like, do you have any couples I guess with like mitzvahs, these kids are like so young, but like, do you have any, anybody say like, hey, before you even meet with them, like, hey, I watched your videos and,
So I've had, I've had a couple of weddings that call me and want to book me because of YouTube. I'm not bar level, that man gets flown out to like, right. Puerto Rico for a wedding. But as far as bar mitzvahs are concerned, no, because it's all like, we don't market. We're not on Wedding Wire or any of that stuff, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, but we just never had to pay for it. Everything that we do is word of mouth. We do a party and there's 300 people. Well, half of those people are probably having bar mitzvahs on their own. So they see us, we do a good job. They're like, we want you. Like that's all there is. And then you couple that, you multiply that with the fact that we're doing, anywhere between 5 and 8 bar mitzvahs on a Saturday night. It's real easy to fill up your booking manager.
And mitzvah's like a different animal too, because like it's kind of like the Jewish families. It's kind of like a keeping up with the Joneses thing. Like they're always 100%. Trying. They're in like competition, right? Like that's what I hear. Like it's like So
I'm actually more shocked because I've always wanted competition. My partner's always like, oh, I heard this new guy was out here and he's doing amazing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, good. People need to understand that, at least for our company, they're booking our company because we operate at a higher level. The quality level of our production is just better than most. But more importantly, it's consistently good. Not, oh, this party was great and this next party I saw them at sucked. But like, it's always good. So that's why our name is our name. So when people pop up, what happens is if you're the only game in town, people are like, oh, well, no, we know they're great, but we just want to look somewhere else. We don't want to have who everybody else had. And then you get kind of pigeonholed. So you need to have competition so they can see, oh, wow, well, he's okay. But now I see why this company is so much better. So even though we don't want to book them, exactly. They need to be able to see good and bad. And so I'm always like that. Yeah, because people are always like, well, this company, I'm like, okay, well, especially for bar mitzvahs, weddings are a little different because it's like you do a wedding and then maybe you do somebody within that family within the next, 3 to 5 years, maybe. We saw you at this wedding. We want you to do ours. But for bar mitzvahs, it's basically a season. And these kids have a group, and maybe in that group they have, 40 bar mitzvahs in that one school, that one Jewish school. And then another Jewish school will have another 40 and then 80 and so on and so forth. So you will get the same people for like weeks at a time where you'll see them. So I'm always like, I cannot believe people are still booking us because they just saw us. Like they've seen us 8 weeks in a row, but it's 8 weeks in a row of different MCs, different DJs, but the quality is always there.
And they're not going to risk it because it's a big deal. If they have a shitty bar mitzvah, that's a big deal. Like their kid will turn to heroin. It could be bad.
I've had
go down the wrong road.
I've had people stop me on the road. Like if I'm doing a bar mitzvah and we're loading in equipment, they're like, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm so sorry that we didn't book you for our party. The DJ we hired he wasn't good. We should have just gone with our gut and then hired you guys. We're hiring you for our next one. It's like, cool, whatever.
I would have grabbed my camera. Can you repeat that, please?
Right, exactly. And I'll tell people like, great. This is why, because the way the seasons work is in the first 3 months, so our season starts, say, in August. We have downtime in July, maybe the last half of June. And then
Why do you think that is? Are they not born then? Or do they always have the same? I don't understand.
It's school season. They want to invite people during school because people are on vacation during July or right after graduation. Okay. So it's just harder to get people there. Where like weddings are like, no, July is like a hot ass month. That's the destination time. So they will see us from mid-August all the way to June. So, these kids can get burnt out, after a certain amount of time. Like, okay, we know your spiel, we know what you do, we know your shtick, but the difference is we modify as we go through the year. So by the time we hit, April, May, June, when the kids are burnt out, we go at it a different way. But I always tell people when they're like, oh, well, this other company's really good. I'm like, yeah, you saw them in September. Every kid will do whatever the hell you want in September because it's all new to them. Tell me how these people are in April and in May when these kids know your deal. And now what are you doing? And that's the difference between what we do versus what other companies do.
That's tough. So, and that's a big difference between weddings because weddings, it's kind of a clean slate every time.
It's like a traveling DJ where he can go to every club and play the same thing. Yeah. Like every time I go to especially weddings. Look, I love weddings. I love weddings and hate weddings at the same time. Weddings are actually pretty easy once you get through the first hour. After that, it's pretty much cruise control. Once you get through which is the most nerve-wracking, is just the announcements. The party entrance.
The only kind of DJs on earth that will say and can say that weddings are easy are mitzvah DJs because that shit is crazy. There ain't nothing harder than a fucking mitzvah. I'll let you. You know what I mean? Anything else, it's like, what do you mean weddings are easy? Because then you go to clubs, it's even easier. Like a bar, even easier. It all trickles down.
Yeah, I get to a wedding and I'm like, okay, so after we make the grand entrance, so I can pretty much play whatever I want, and
I'm on vacation.
Will dance the whole time.
Yeah.
Easy. I can play stuff that I like now. Hey guys, this is from my era. You like this? Hey, great. You cannot do that at a bar mitzvah. They will look at you.
I want to sing.
Yeah, they will look at you like, what is this? Like, that's the difference. If you ever want to feel humbled by anything, it's never more humbling than when a 13-year-old stops and looks at you and just like boos you. Like, there's nothing worse than that. So once you get your first boo, because we hire real DJs, okay? Like we don't hire, like we get either club DJs that like, okay, they're over the grind of clubs. So now they want something a little more consistent so we can bring them on and, they'll get paid. They get paid better than they get paid at clubs. The hours are a little longer, but it's consistent money. And every club DJ I've ever brought in, like, come over here and just shadow us for this party and see. Then they see it, they're like, okay, cool. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, that's what I do. Like, okay, cool. So you put him on the party now, and now you're the one shadowing him, and you're watching him, and you see him go for a song. You're like, don't play that. Don't play that song.
It's going to happen.
Like, what do you mean? No, it's fine. I'm like, okay. And then, like, literally, this is me. He starts playing the song, and I'm like this. Because I know what's going to happen. And I've literally watched kids stop and boo the whole crowd, boo a DJ.
That's unreal to me, though, that these little kids, these little assholes will boo a grown man to their face.
They will. They will.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. So that's why I'm like, I've never once been booed at a wedding. I never once been booed at a club. But like, you have to make sure. And that's why you got to play what they know. You got to play what they know.
Well, any tips on that? Like, how do you stay dialed in? How do you because I get a lot of comments and a lot of if I put a post up, saying like, hey guys, what should I talk about? A lot of people ask not mitzvahs particularly, but just kid parties in general.
What's all the hot new music?
Well, and how do you, these kids these days, they only want to hear 10 seconds of a song and then they boo you and it sucks and it's all tough. And do you have any tips for that? Because I don't do kid parties. So I never address it because I don't, I'm like, yeah, I feel you. I would just quit doing them. That's my advice.
Well, no, you have to speed mix with these kids. So if anybody thinks that playing, 2 verses and 2 choruses and mixing out on the bridge is not enough, you will get eaten alive for kids. Because literally for kids, I'm, for the most part, playing hooks only. Just hook to hook to hook. Because what happens is they know the TikTok hook, and the verse comes on and they're like, We don't know it because we never listened to it this long. So they're just sitting there, and now everything's awkward because they're just waiting for the hook to come back in. So I've doubled hooks before, like if I'm playing, all I do is win, instead of playing Luda's verse, which they don't know and don't care about, I'll
Bring the hook back twice.
Bring the hook back twice, and then I'm out to another song. So it's little stuff like that. But like for me, because the music today is a little bit crappy. I'm not gonna lie to you. And there's been a study done. They've been tracking cloud music being played, and they have said that new music is barely getting played. All the music getting played is older music.
Yep.
Exactly. So that should kind of tell you that even the kids are tired of the music. The hardest part of kid music is that they don't listen in your traditional sense. They don't listen to, they'll listen to Spotify, maybe Apple Music, but a lot of this stuff is coming from SoundCloud, and you have to be up on it, or not. So
How?
I have younger DJs. I got younger DJs. I got younger MCs that I can always kind of tap into.
Gotcha.
There's certain things where like, and I love Crate Hackers. I got their cup right here. I love them. They do an amazing job. By the way, new camera, so I can do this now.
What camera you got?
I got the Sony A7 IV.
Look at you. Look at you.
I know.
Went Sony on me. Went mirrorless on me.
I've always been mirrorless because I got Lumix everywhere else. I got a Lumix.
Oh, that's
camera.
right. Yeah, you were Lumix. Yeah.
Yeah, because I got one. I got one right here that's aimed this way. That's my Lumix. So yeah, I've been. I moved over to Sony and absolutely. I don't say I love it. I've started to find some faults in the Sony system too.
Just the workflow for me, like learning a whole new product. I'm just so like Canon's got me. I know how it works, so it's like
I get that. I almost bought Canon. If it weren't for the lenses being so ridiculously expensive and the overheating, I might have gotten an R or something. But
they are mad money.
Sony's been good. Yeah.
But like in the beginning of, I didn't even know bar mitzvahs had season. So in the mitzvah season, in the beginning, do you have to like kind of work out kinks? Like, does the music completely change?
Yes.
Is there any crossover?
Yes. No, and that's the problem. Hold on, let me tighten up my stupid wave thing. That's the problem because what happens is that the first two parties, I feel bad for. Because
you never want to be the first two parties.
You don't.
They're learning experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, because what happens is, think about this. So you'll stop. Say June, third week of June, maybe you'll stop doing bar mitzvahs. And then you won't do another bar mitzvah until like the second week of August. So there's 2 whole months of music that you haven't been looking for, that you haven't been playing. And even if you download every new song, you don't know what's hot. You have no idea. So you have to kind of wait on the kids to kind of tell you. So I always started a little conservative, kind of playing stuff that I knew was like hot as of like June 15th. But then, and this is why I don't understand how anybody can make this statement. That's why I rely on titles, the beat sources, the SoundCloud, whatever streaming service you're using, because they'll come up and be like, hey, you got this song? Can you play this song? And then you'll go, I don't have it. Let me stream it. Let me make a note so I can download it from any of my record pools, and then I'll have it for next time. And that's why you should use streaming. It's an emergency. Those are emergencies, those first couple of weeks. After that, then you're good. I can knock it out, not an issue whatsoever. But those first couple of weeks, ooh.
Because I'm looking at the kid like,
I'm sorry.
how do you know what's hot to a 13-year-old? Because it's not the same as you can go out to a club and see what's hot with people of drinking, grown adults in drinking age, right?
Immediately, you can go to a club and be like, okay, I got it. But
it's not the same with 13-year-olds, and it sucks. I can't tell you how many, even 16, whatever, proms I've did. I'll play a song, and then they turn around and give me the cutthroat. And I'm like, you little 16-year-old prick, this worked at a club last night. It banged. You don't even know what's hot. You can't even drink. You can't even get in the club yet. How you going to tell me this ain't hot? I know what's hot. And I get so mad. I'm like, you can't tell me this is cheesy.
Well, again, there's nothing worse than like knowing a song's a banger. And then playing it, and then they're like, "What is this?" And you're just like, "Oh, they don't know it yet." Because I've had times where they either don't know it yet, and then maybe 4 months from then they get it, or they were playing it a year ago and nobody knew that it was hot. Like it finally made it to the mainstream, and now they're like, "We don't listen to this crap." But like SoundCloud unfortunately, you gotta
It's so
pull your
vast, though.
ethnic
Like,
out.
how do you even?
It is huge.
I guess there's a homepage on SoundCloud. You can see what's on the top page, I guess. But
Yeah,
it's like, how do you?
but you just got to know people. You got to know these kids, and that's the thing. That's why anybody that's like that's not doing like, you know, again, I was bringing up Crate Hackers because I saw on there they were like, oh, we're doing a high school prom crate, and we're doing this type of crate. I'm like, well, that's great, but
it's also regional.
Yes, and that's my whole thing. Where it's like I look at it like, okay, cool. I know I can pull out a lot of stuff in here. It's more for me validation than anything else. Like, okay, yeah, these are stuff. Or oh, you know what? Especially for the older stuff. God, I totally forgot about that song. I should throw that in a list in a crate. But yeah, anything new, like I'll look sometimes and I'll be like, I don't know that song. I don't know that song. I don't know that song. And nobody knows those songs in California. You know, but maybe in the Midwest, the song is popping, you know, and that's why it's hard. It's hard, man. It's real. I don't, I feel a little bad for them because, you know, that is the thing that they have to account for.
Yeah.
You know,
it's probably what's the craziest thing that ever happened to you? Like at an event? Like you got any like crazy stories with the kids or with the wedding or like, what's all these years?
There's been so many events. It's hard. I think speeches are always the craziest.
You see some doozies?
I've seen. I saw one. Well, first off, we've done parties for everybody. So we're kind of a top tier DJ company. So we do, we're doing Adam Sandler's kids bar mitzvah in next month. Okay, like
no way.
Yeah, like that. We did his first. We did his first kid too. So
you met Adam Sandler?
Oh yeah, I got his phone number. I got his phone number in my phone.
You do not have You have Adam Sandler's phone number.
I have Adam Sandler's phone number in my phone. Yes.
Oh my God. So you're in Southern California, right? You're in
Southern California. Yeah. So we do a lot of entertainment.
So
a lot of entertainment. Yeah. I mean, look, the bar mitzvah scene. You know, there's a lot of Jews in entertainment. So we do see a lot.
Well, so like an Adam Sandler party, like an A-list celebrities kids party, like does he put you on an NDA? Like, can you you know what I mean?
So,
like,
no. Typically, the NDAs come from the party planners. Like, it's always funny to me because anytime we've done any high-profile client, they're all the same. The party planners are always like, okay, look, this client is really, really important to us, so we need you to look, they're important to us too. Every client we do is important. Like we don't, it's like, I don't know why you have to tell me this. They're really important. I'm like, they're still human beings. So, as long as they're not assholes, we'll be just fine.
Thanks for letting me know. I was actually going to suck, but until you said that, now, all right, now I know I got to be good. Oh shit. Whoa, good thing you said something.
Yeah. Because when I actually talked to him, it was like we have to have a meeting, and then there's going to be 4 of the coordinators on the call. We're going to do a conference call, blah blah blah. And finally, I'm like, look, you can do whatever you want, but I'm like, I can just call him. Oh no. We have to set up this meeting. It's like, fine. Then finally, he was like, I don't have time for this. So he's like, I'm going to call you. So he called and he was like, hey, it's Adam Sandler. Here's my phone number. Call me back, whatever. So we called. And that's the thing.
You got a message from Adam. You got a voicemail from Adam Sandler in the Adam Sandler voice.
Yes.
Did he do any crazy thing from me? Like, ooh, call me back. Ooh.
No, he did not. No.
Oh my God.
The mellow voice he does when he in his normal movies when he's just like before he gets crazy.
Yeah.
That kind of it's like that's him all the time. Huh. Yeah. So I talked to him and he was just like he's a normal dude. And that's what I'm saying. Like all these high-end clients, like we've done stuff for Will Smith, Cedric the Entertainer, like we've done a lot for people and they're all normal people. And they just want to have a good time. It's typically the coordinators that screw it all up because they end up trying to make it way too bougie, way over the top. And then there's so much stuff that is being set up in the timeline that by the time you're even able to do something, you got like 20 minutes left. And you're like, you hired me, you paid all this money for me to play background music and then dance them for 20 minutes. But that's how they run things. So I always tell people, it's like, don't think that like all these high-end clients are glamorous. A lot of the times you end up not doing much at all. And so it's not like you can let me show my ass real quick and show these people who I am and how good I am. Most of the times they don't even they don't even dance.
Because it's an unlimited budget, so then if there's an add-on, if there's something new or something to whatever, they're putting it on there.
Yeah, I've had people like Kristen Chenoweth, the singer, the Broadway singer. She came on and sang for an hour with the girl, because the girl was also like a huge like Broadway fan. So then she came out and did a whole thing for an hour. So like, yeah, we played cocktail music for this one party. Then we sat around for an hour and a half, and then we played like 20 minutes for the opening dance set. And then they opened up another room entirely, which was like, this huge thing. And then all the people went into there. And then finally some people came back. But it's like, we don't do much of anything. And that's the the thing that people don't tell you. They're so easy. The money is bigger because
I was gonna say, do you charge the same amount of money for a celebrity like that?
No. We actually, so we moved up. We have our normal packages, and then we have what we call our premium packages. Now, premium packages. Well, not even full shenanay, but more like, you want this MC, you want this, you want it to be guaranteed, because if you can't have this person, then you won't book with us or whatever.
Gotcha.
Okay, then you're gonna pay for that. So we have that, and for like high-end party planners, we don't even show them the other packages. They're like, okay, this is what we want. I'm like, okay, here you go, and like they just pay the higher price because we know that that's what they're expecting anyway. So and they pay. They never question it. No matter what the price is.
And these parties always come from the planners, right? Because like if you're a celebrity, whatever, you're using a planner to plan everything. You're not going to do it yourself. So it's always, right?
For the most part, like we have some people that call us directly, but like in general, like even like with Adam Sandler, he knew he wanted us, but like he's not going to pick up a phone and say, "Hey guys, I'm having my party in a couple of months." So like we haven't talked to him since then, but his party's coming up in May. So it's
Can
fine.
I come?
I mean. I know, seriously. Like I didn't even get to go on the other one because
I'll be one of your dancers.
I know, seriously. No, I didn't get to go to the first one because I had another party which was like, I knew it was going to be tougher, so I needed to be on it because there was a whole bunch of stuff and lighting and table spots, and it was just a whole bunch of stuff. And this was pre-COVID, so we were doing everything that we could to try to build, this business up. And so now we're moving into like lighting and all that stuff. After COVID, I'm like, we're not doing that right now. If we're gonna do it, we're gonna hire somebody in as a supplement. Yeah. Exactly. We're gonna sub it out and just call it a day. So I'll be on this one. This one I will definitely be on, and it's a good time. But we just did another one for a high profile client, and the only difference was there was 400 plus people. So it doesn't matter how they screw up the schedule because there's always time for dancing when there's 400 people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
100%.
So, anyway. Most wedding coordinators suck. They don't. Most wedding coordinators, I just saw a comment. They don't suck. They just they know what they know and they do what they do. And until you show them a different way, that's what they do.
The best wedding coordinators know how to stay in their lane, in their pocket. They know what to have 100% control of and to make happen, and then they know what not to micromanage. It seems when I work with a less experienced coordinator, they tend to micromanage every minute thing. Mm-hmm. And correct. That's when you're wasting time. You're wasting your own time, and you're also like messing everybody up. When they're telling me, to make this most simplest, basic of announcement, like when I was going to make it anyway, because it's like. It's like this is wedding number 1500 for me. How many weddings you been to, lady? Like, why are you telling me like you're wasting your time? Go do something.
And I need you to say it like this. I know how to say which one.
Yeah, exactly.
Dinner is served.
Like, come on. Why are you worried about me? You need to be worried about something else. But it just depends who you work with. No, you gotta be nice. Gotta play nice.
Yeah, but the high end ones, they didn't get to where they were from not going with their gut. So I appreciate that. But we train high-end, retrain high clients, high-end party planners all the time. Because at first they're up our butt. You need to do this. The food's coming out. What time does it say on the schedule? Food's coming out at 7:30. Okay, what time is it right now? 7:15. So why are you here? I will stop at 7:30. Like we talked about. Unless you tell me, did you need 10 more minutes? I'm going to stop at 7:30.
Oh, I won't stop until I see the trays. Until I see them coming out.
Because you'll get burned. You'll get burned that way too.
Oh, yeah. Never again. The food's coming out. Where is it? When it comes out, I'll stop.
Yeah.
What's your
I
timeline
still-
like in Cali for like weddings and stuff?
So for weddings, there's still about 5 to 6 hours, not including the ceremony. But let's just say ceremony's at I don't know 5 o'clock, and then cocktails maybe at 5:30. You get your hour cocktail. Then you bring them in at 6:30, and then they'll probably. I always say 6:30 to 10:30 is like the perfect window, but they always want to go to 11:30 till 12. I don't know why out here it's always like a
Interesting.
They always want to go longer, and which I kind of understand because it seems like the younger people don't really get you don't get to play their true music until later in the night because you don't want to piss off grandma and grandpa.
But you guys don't do after parties? 'Cause that's what we do here. We'll have a 4-hour reception, but then there'll be a separate after party, especially in the cities. And then that's when
Okay. No, we don't do after parties here. I mean, usually the after party is just them going for another hour and people leave. So now you're playing for 40 people versus the 200.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we don't do after hours. I've had a couple of clients ask about it, but it's few and far between here.
What about intros and stuff? Like, take me through a typical wedding timeline. Like, what order do you guys do all that kind of stuff? Like, you bring them in the reception, cocktail hour's done.
Right. So it all depends because, since we're doing weddings, typically, we're either doing Jewish weddings or we're doing regular, like, Christian or Catholic weddings. Typically speaking, the party planner and the chef will want to bring the food out almost immediately. That's just like, so you have your grand entrance, say it takes 10 minutes for people to come in and sit down.
And then dance right after grand entrance?
Then you do grand entrance and first dance. Sometimes you don't, especially if it's a Jewish wedding. Sometimes you do horror there, or you push horror till later on. So it just depends on the type of wedding. But yeah, typically it's grand entrance, first dance. And then usually they want you to sit them down. We try to get another 10, 15 minutes of dancing, just to kind of set the rules.
What do you mean? Do you dance them before that?
No, we dance them after the first dance.
Okay.
So we don't set them right after the first dance. If we can, we'll try to dance for 10, 15 minutes. Because for us, because think about this for half a second here. If it's a legitimate wedding and the schedules are the way they typically do, you'll go to the service, you'll spend, 45 minutes sitting down there. Then the bar will open up, you'll drink for a little while, and then you got to go right back down and sit down and then watch the grand entrance, watch the first dance, and then first course comes out. Okay. Yeah. So, and then they'll typically, a catering staff will want to bring everything out back to back to back. So salads, main course, and then dessert. That's a long time for people sitting. And now when you do get them up to finally dance, they're tired and you have to like
the itis.
Yeah. And they don't want to do anything. So we try to fit in that little dance set in between just to kind of set the rules like, hey guys, this isn't your typical party. We're here to dance. We're here to have a good time. And then we will squeeze in another dance set in between first course and main course because they'll tell you that, we don't have time. We're going to bring food out immediately. They got to clear the table. They got to prepare for the next one. So you still have probably 20 minutes of them not doing anything while they're trying to clear the tables and prepare for main course. So we will start to kind of, obviously cocktail music is very important. It's very important the music you play during, not cocktail, but during first course and even dinner, because that sets the tone for the night. And if you're playing, hold on, let me just grab my cocktail mix that I'll play for dinner, and it's a whole bunch of sappy, boring music, that's the energy you're going to get from the crowd. So I start playing a little more current, cooler, but still slow and relatively slow, but lower energy, but stuff that they can enjoy. Like I'm playing Killing Me Softly, like Lauryn Hill, like stuff like that where they're like, okay, I can still
singing
nod
along,
my head
popping.
as I'm eating my salad, right? So but when it's time to finally get these people to the dance floor, they're not just like,
we have a lot of the same opinions, man. It's crazy. I didn't realize how many there's a lot of things you said. I was like, yeah, I do exactly that. Even like how you mix certain songs, it's exactly how I mix them too. It's fucking hilarious. How do you get them to dance?
What the hell we're talking about?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I've been right all this time. How do you get them to dance in between? Do you just do something like organically, like slowly bring up the music? Do you announce it?
So it all depends on the demographics of the wedding. So if it's a Jewish wedding, then we can typically go into the horror from there, and that starts the next dance set. But if it's not, typically I try to force all dancing events. So it could be mother-son dance, father-daughter. I use those to start off my sets. Like I don't want to end with the mother-son dance or father-daughter because you're losing a potential getting people to the dance floor. So we'll do say father-daughter, and then right after that we'll invite everybody up to the dance floor, and they feel guilty because the father and daughter are on the dance floor. So
say,
they're going to
"Join
come
them."
out,
Yeah.
join them exactly. So then they get on. We go into a dance set. That typical second set is when I play real Universal. I'm playing the disco, the 80s, maybe bleeding a little pop stuff. But like, that's when you're playing like, September, and all the stuff that's like real universally loved
Pitbull.
music.
Yep.
Exactly. So we're playing all that. And then after that, we'll typically stop again for either cake cutting, or like the bunch of things that you do. Garter belt, flower toss, cake cutting. Typically you kind of roll those up into the same thing. So then we'll do those. And then after we do that, then it's just, we're partying for the rest of the night, but,
Dessert, is there a big dessert thing ever?
So they do the cake cutting. But yeah, as far as like, everybody's going to sit down for cake. Like most people don't care, especially if there's an open bar.
Hour?
No, we tend to avoid it. In California, there's a lot of soft openings for food. It's like, okay, the cake's out, but don't announce it. Don't announce it. Just keep dancing.
Like
if they want to.
I like that.
So
yeah.
So do we. Yeah, and that's why we always tell people, because it used to be where it's like, we need to sit people down because there is a pastry tray on the table, and people need to sit down for it. And I finally got to a point where I'm like, look, do you care about dessert? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, then we're not going to announce it. If people want to eat it, they can eat it.
They can eat it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the only announcement, the only one that matters, and it always drives me crazy when a venue will tell you, don't announce dinner. Just let them go organically. That doesn't exist. The moment the food comes out, organically they're going to leave your dance floor. So why make me look like the asshole when I can just say, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we rock that set. Your food is ready. Head over to your tables.
Exactly. Because if you don't make the announcement, it looks like, whoa, this DJ sucks. He cleared the whole dance floor.
Exactly. And it's like, no, this song always works. Clearly it didn't work this time because there's filet mignon being served at the buffet. People don't want me here. So anyway, I see Kova in the building. What's going on, Kova?
What's up, Kova? What about speeches? Are they done during dinner?
I like to do them during dinner. Because typically, you wait. So let's say so I like to break them up. I don't want to do all of them at the same time because it's just a energy suck. So I will do, I'll try to do like maybe the father of the bride at the end of salads, because that will segue perfectly into the father-daughter dance. So he's talking all his love, and I love my daughter, and it's all
good idea,
okay.
actually.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's take them to the floor. Then you can bring everybody else up. Then during main course is when I typically want to do like the maid of honor, and they can write it down. The maid of honor and the best man. And typically, I always make the best man last, not first. Do not let your maid of honor go second. Because typically speaking, the groom is the one who's funny. And the maid of honor is always emotional. Like they want to talk about how much they love each other. So that's a party energy killer. You don't want to start off, everybody's cracking up, and now it's emotional. So start with the maid of honor and then go to the best man.
I had a crazy crier this weekend. People are like clapping, like, you can do it. And then I couldn't even understand her. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, damn it, I forgot to put the screen on the mic. Now I got it. It's all, I see her just like fucking snot coming out of her nose practically.
Oh, my God. Yeah. That's why I have two mics now. One for them, one for me.
Same. Yeah. Always. Yeah. If that's especially after COVID, you know what I mean? Two mics is a must. Exactly. Especially if they drop it and now you're beat, that sort of thing. Cool, man. I appreciate you coming on. Put a bow on this. Any final words? Anything you want to like plug or anything like that, or anything?
Well, let's see. I mean, you guys know who I am. If you're not following me on YouTube, follow me on YouTube. It's just Cleveland Terry. All my socials are Cleveland Terry with an underscore. Link is in the description. I do my Thursday show. That's the only one that's set in stone right now, which is my Tech Thursday. Every Thursday, that's 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. for you East Coast people.
Because you're not from Cleveland, your name is Cleveland.
Because I'm not
Let's clear
from
this
Cleveland.
up. Everyone gets this wrong.
Yes, you guys, and I know. I watch people when they comment, and it's always like they don't know what to say. So I'm like, just call me CT, because they're both my name. Do I call you Terry? Do I call you Cleveland? You call me whatever you want. But CT seems to be the easier one. So it's like, call me CT, call it a day. But the only thing I will say is, I love what you're doing, Nick, but everybody out there, don't listen to Nick. You don't know what he's talking about. No, but listen to Nick also. But don't listen to Nick, but listen to Nick.
I'm just winging it, people.
Straddle it.
You do what you like. I'm just winging it.
Oh, no. On all honesty, I've been saying this forever. I really do love what you're doing, and it works.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
You have a lane that nobody else is in, and it works for you. I mean, I dabble in your lane, but like, I'm also there's a difference, which is what I love about the way all of us are. You, Mojax, Preon, TLM, we all have a different style about us, and you can get information from every single person. Like I watched Mojax's last video about the uplights, and I own those same uplights, and I'm watching this video like, fuck, he's so damn good sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know they did certain things. I was like, oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So I'm just like, Jesus, and I think that's what's really great about it is, YouTube is different than like regular DJing. Like a YouTube, we support each other, and we know that there's enough space for everybody. And
exactly.
There's
a place for everybody.
Yeah. But the DJs don't understand that. The DJs are still in this kind of adversarial mode. Like, well, if you get this gig, there's no way that I can get a gig because you got the gig. And that's not true. Like, there's so many parties. There's so many opportunities that you can do. The one thing I've learned, and I've kept it in my mind, when we went off on our own, and I wasn't really sure how the other company was going to take it when we decided to go off on our own. And I'm talking to this photographer, and he's a big photographer, does, thousands of weddings, and one of his guys left. And I said, hey, I'm like, where's your guy? He's like, oh, he went off on his own, started his own business. So I pull him to the side. I'm like, I got to know about this. In all honesty, were you pissed that he went off on his own? And he's like, no. I'm like, I don't understand. How can you not be pissed? He said, there's enough parties for everyone. And for a moment, I was like, well, what do you mean? Yeah, I mean, and then I realized, oh my God, not only are there enough parties for everybody, but there's so many parties that you can fuck up a party and still be able to recover in your career, because there's so many parties that by the time, because there's a cycle, especially for weddings. You mess up one wedding, you're maybe messed up with the people that saw you at that wedding, but another client is right behind the door. You know what I mean? So you always have opportunities to kind of recover. And a lot of, especially the ladies out there, when they book stuff, they book it emotionally, and for whatever reason, they always say, well, it might have happened on that party, but it won't happen on mine. There's always this kind of weird attitude about it. No, there's no way that happens on mine. So, there's enough parties for everybody. Everybody should support one another. And maybe we wouldn't be in this situation, because I'm tired of looking at comments where people are just angry all the time.
Or the comments where it's like, why are you sharing all this information? Like, your competition's going to see it and then they're going to crush you. You're sharing your secrets. It's like, there's no secrets. I'll tell you exactly what I do, and everyone does it differently, and you're not going to sound like me. You're not going to sound like Cleveland. You're not going to, you know what I mean? It's just...
Exactly.
And there's enough work for everybody. So it doesn't matter. I'm an open book, just like you are. That's our YouTube kind of mantra, right? I mean, that's why we're on YouTube. We're just sharing all, just trying to bring the industry up.
Well, and I've also learned this, as I've been doing it. People were saying, why are you doing that? And I said, well, first off, because it does help people. And it's not like I'm sharing necessarily with my direct competitors, but if they're my direct competitors and they're that good, they already know what I'm sharing anyway. So I'm not giving away any real trade secrets. But what I have learned is that most people are lazy. I can tell them the formula to having a successful business, and they will hear me and not do anything. So what am I worried about?
You still got to put in the work. You still got to put in the work. And only
Exactly.
10% do. That goes for everything. That's why most DJs don't know how to scratch. Most DJs don't, you know what I mean? Things like that. Because it takes a lot of work and time and just over and over. And it's never, and it's always evolving. And even when you get the beginner stuff down, it's like, well, I want this. And you can't get, it's just,
Yeah.
you know,
Can't win.
it takes a certain type of person to put in that work.
Agreed.
That's for sure.
Agreed.
Love
All
it,
right.
brother. I appreciate you
Thank
for
you,
coming
man.
on, though. Seriously, man. Thank you. Finally got you on. You know,
Yeah.
I
Nick
said
says
earlier in the
finally got
show-
you on. Finally got you on. I'm like,
well, you put
I had
me
to
on early.
ask.
No, well, I've been meaning to. I'm bad. I literally book my guests like 4 days before every time. I don't have everything planned. I actually do have 2 guests planned, but but that's rare for me. It's actually rare for me. But you put me on early on. I appreciate that. I said early in the show, you know, you really helped give me a boost by put me on your show and stuff months and months ago. And you know, if I had you too soon, I mean, you know, at least now it's like a little, you know, I got a couple people that might cross over, so I can help you know, return the favor a little bit. You know.
Yeah, I'm not worried at all. I appreciate you too. All right, thanks for having me.
Have a good one,
Talk to
man.
you soon. Thanks.
Later.
Peace out.